Yay Networks.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Cornelius. I'm back. And we got Kris back in the building. Yo, if you didn't get a chance to listen to last week's episode, I encourage you to, man. We talked about tribalism. We talked in church culture, all that kind of stuff. So make sure y'all send this over to your pastor. No, you know what? Don't send this to your pastor. Then he going to be assuming that, just if you're a pastor, you're a preacher, whatever it is out there listening. If you're not, just a lay member, and this is good for you, we encourage you to listen to it. But nevertheless, Kris, last week we talked about tribalism, bro. We kind of ended it, and talking. You mentioned something that was so profound, and that was about proximity. And I just wanted you to kind of take us the rest of the way with that message of proximity.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Man, I wonder if we'd be okay with getting uncomfortable. You know what I mean? I think.
In what sense?
I think proximity is really hard because it's uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think proximity is really hard because it's uncomfortable. Like,
does it challenge the ego? Is that the reason why it's uncomfortable?
I think at times it can. I think it can challenge a lot of different things. I think it challenges our ego. I think it 100% challenges our ego. Like, because who wants to know that they're wrong?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we're all, like, I think none of us have it all figured out.
Right.
One of the things I'm convinced of is we're gonna stand before Jesus one day and find out that, like, a lot of our theology is a house of cards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna be like, oh, I got that one wrong. And I think it's like,
do you think he cares as much as we do?
no, like I was telling something the other day, like, if my son comes up to me, like, as a little kid, he wouldn't say this now, he's older, but like, if he was like if my son comes up to me and he's like, Daddy, you're pretty. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna be like, no, son, like, look, man, I'm a dude. You don't say that to dudes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that's not culturally, accurate language. Like, like, I'm gonna be like, come here, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you're funny. I love you. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't think God be tripping as much. I've been reading, man, this. I'm gonna be called a heretic.
Oh, go for a heretic. Whole podcast just changed about being a heretic. Hey, go ahead. Please have people call you a heretic. They've been calling me a heretic for years, so please. I encourage this. Come on, Kris. Don't stop now. You turning red on me, bro. No, come on. Come on, bring it out.
One of the things I've been thinking about lately is I wonder how much, when we experience, like, the conviction of the Holy Spirit, or we experience, like, when we experience, like, like that desire and urge to change, like, when we know, like, I wonder how many times, like the Spirit will speak to us, but then there'll be the lens of the accuser, or there'll be like the like, that, like, you never use, like, prank dial or, like, you never use that thing when you're, like, a kid, like, and you just call and, like, just prank people. You never did that?
Is that a game?
I was a bad kid, so we used to call, just call people with different voices.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I use that. I use
You know what I mean? Like, but
yeah.
I wonder how much, like, man, like the Holy Spirit voice comes, and then it goes through, and then the accuser just kind of, like, right on top of that.
Yeah.
And so we hear, like, hey, man, like, maybe the Spirit's, like, giving a, like being like, man, you need to spend some more time with your wife.
Mm-hmm.
And then we hear, you're a terrible husband.
Mm-hmm.
The Spirit's like, hey, you know what I mean? Like, you need to stop looking at that stuff on the internet, and you're like, oh, you're a dirtbag, you're dirty, like, and we hear these different things, you know what I mean? Like, Jesus hates you, you're a terrible Christian. Like,
right.
You're all these different, right? We hear these different voices. And I wonder if that's caused us to miss what the actual intention of the Holy Spirit is, and the intention of God is in his commands.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I wonder if God's commandments and God's requirements on us are less of, like, this, like, less of this accusatory, like demanding, like,
Yeah.
you know, and I wonder if they're more,
You're getting into my stuff.
I wonder if they're more invitations, you know,
I
like,
agree.
so like what, like I used, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that he's not like, I'm not saying that God's not like calling us to, like, I'm not trying to be flippant about this or like wiggly in it, right? Like, why did I don't even need to say that. Like, I don't care.
I agree, but
you know,
here, okay. So I'm gonna say this, Kris. I agree.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you this. I feel like right now, and maybe this is just more the Western church.
Yeah.
Our theology, our gospel, what we preach, we are so prone and addicted to guilt and shame.
Yes, bro.
We're so prone to guilt and shame that every message that you hear now is about either one or two things: either shaming someone else,
Yeah.
or shaming yourself.
Shaming yourself.
And so because we have shame, and shame says I'm a bad person.
Exactly.
So now, since you have no value for self,
Yeah.
and we're so shame and guilt prone, now we have to shame other people to make ourselves feel better.
Feel better, yeah.
And so that shame is like I see it, and I remember I said something last week, a couple weeks ago, and it was like, you know, why I was asking a pastor. I listened to his message and I said, you know, he was going on and on about there needs to be, we need to start preaching more about sin. The church isn't preaching enough about sin. He's preaching more about sin. And I'm like, dude, it's not like the rules changed.
Yeah.
We already know what the rules are.
Yeah.
It's not so much that we don't know, it's the fact that we feel so much shame that even when you preach about the rules in front of the people, they're not going to do them in front of you. That's why the adultery and everything else is done where nobody else can see
because
it.
it's not producing, because like a lot of times
It's not producing righteousness.
Yeah, what people are hearing is not, because that's why I think they're invitations. Like I was thinking of you know, one of the things that I've been praying for, man, like, you know, like, man, I come from a lot of brokenness, man, and like I'm not afraid of death. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I'm not afraid of like what happens after I die. I'm not afraid of like even the process of death. Like, in some sense, I'm kind of curious. Like, I'm like, man, what's it gonna be like? You know what I mean? Like, I want to meet Jesus, man. It's gonna be dope. You know, like, but here's the thing. Don't look at, why you looking at me like that? I'm not saying it in some morbid way, but here's the thing. I'll tell you what I am like, what I am like afraid of. I'm afraid of missing out. I want to be a grandfather. I want to be with my wife till I'm old, man.
Yeah.
I want to like see my grandkids run around, and I want to like, I don't want to miss out. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and part of the way, like, I eat and I exercise and I don't take care of my body that well, you know, sometimes, man. Like, sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, if I, you know, like, I might enjoy a little too much wine, you know what I mean? Like, there's different things, you know, and like, I feel like, you know, part of my prayer is like, God, would you give me long life, right? And then there's these different things in my life that I gotta get in order, you know, like, in some sense that can contribute to longevity, right? And I don't hear, like, so I might experience like, hey, you probably shouldn't, you probably should take care of your body better, you know what I mean? Now, I can hear that as, you're a terrible steward of your body, you wicked, evil person, or, son, didn't you say you want long life, man?
Yeah.
I'm inviting you to like,
that's love.
I want to invite you to change, because not because I'm trying to like smash on you and like tell you how stupid and dumb you are and how like whatever, but because I want to give you the things that you want. And like, it's like, man, hey, you want intimacy with your wife? Like, you should probably spend some more time with her. Like, you should talk more. Hey, you want your kids to grow up and have, like, you need to be present. You need to prioritize it. And I don't hear it as like you're a terrible, like I can hear it as you're a terrible dad, or you're a terrible business, or like, no, I'm inviting you to trust me. I'm inviting you on this pathway because I know what's best. I created you. I know what's best. And so rather than being these like commands of like,
you're bad,
it's like this invitation to like life and joy and fullness. And so I'm trying to figure out how that deals with proximity. Oh, I think what you were saying was something in the beginning about like Jesus hung out with these different people. You know, I think.
Oh yeah.
I think in some sense like Jesus is around. He's okay with being around whoever because he's inviting because Jesus is a good friend, because Jesus is hospitable, because he's an inviting person.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And so how it relates to tribalism isn't inviting.
Right. It's not inviting.
It's not inviting.
It's not inviting. It's very divisive.
It's not curious either.
Yeah, it isn't. And it's very, I want to say it's selfish. But the selfishness requires a sense of camaraderie, this camaraderie, in order for it to remain cohesive, and it's just all messed up. But we're gonna jump more into this topic right after this break. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp, and y'all, let me just say this: listening to this podcast. It's so important that you hear that one of the central themes is getting the help that you need. And that's one thing that we absolutely love about BetterHelp. BetterHelp is, they have a collection of therapists. And the reason why therapy is so important is because sometimes when you're in a dark place, when you're in a confused place, when you're trying to find understanding, it's good to have somebody who can listen to what's going on in your life, and then they can be able to add verbiage to your pain. That's so important. So getting to know yourself can be a lifelong process, especially because, we're always growing and we're always changing, and you have all these life events that are happening and all these challenges that you're facing and all these things. And I'm not telling you to do something that I have not done. I've been in therapy. I've used BetterHelp. I have sent everyone that I know to BetterHelp. I mean, they provide financial aid, and I've had many of my friends who have benefited from the financial aid that BetterHelp provides. I mean, you go on, and I've had friends who went on and they said, I didn't like the therapist I had. And guess what? They will allow for you to switch therapists. So you're not locked into someone. And here's the thing, it's virtual. So you're not going to sit down in an office wondering who's looking at you, all that kind of stuff. Like all that stuff ain't there. BetterHelp has really provided an amazing space for you to get the help that you need. So if you're thinking of giving therapy a start, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. You just fill out a questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Lindsay's today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Lindsay's, LINDSEYS. Again, BetterHelp, HELP.com/Lindsay's, LINDSEYS. You're getting help at BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/Lindsay's. So Kris, so now we understand this concept of proximity. We understand this. We've been talking about tribalism, but you mentioned something before. We talked about this, and that was about brokenness.
Yeah.
And I feel like, we have pastors, preachers, evangelists, whatever title that they have, ministers who are.
We only have a few titles.
Who are.
I mean, you guys create all the titles,
I thought the Catholics created all of them.
You guys take them up though.
Golly.
You guys just give them out like candy.
Hey, you know what? I have tried to lose every last one of them. So I don't even know what tribe I'm a part of, because I can't stand all that. Oh, I'm saying stuff. I can't. I need to get out of that. Okay. So I'm about to. Dang, I'm about to have some people write me up. Oh God, I can't. What was I about to say? Yes, but we have people who from all these different things who call themselves servants. Mm-hmm. Preachers, whatever it may be, two groups who have experienced brokenness, and they're in that stage right now. Yeah. And I know you and I, we've talked about that, our journey. Yeah. And then you have those individuals who are in a seedbed of egotism, of egotism and pride. Yeah. And they have not found brokenness yet. Yeah. Let's walk down that road of brokenness and why it's so important.
It was Spurgeon.
Oh,
See, you know, I got you. You knew I was gonna say it.
I love Spurgeon.
Spurgeon's great. Right?
I love Spurgeon.
He said God breaks a man before he uses a man. Right? Like,
I think he stole that from A.W. Tozer.
He probably did steal that from Tozer, huh?
Tozer.
Yeah, Canadian. It was Canadian, right?
Hey, I think he stole that one, but absolutely, he probably had it in his depressed stage in his bed.
Yeah, you know, I think like, you know, brokenness is a part of life, man. It's a part of being human. You know what I mean? I think it's a part of being human, and I think here's what I do know: whether you've experienced brokenness yet, or you'll experience brokenness later, you will experience a level of brokenness. And
absolutely.
I think how you deal with that, you know, I think in our culture, oh man, I feel like I'm losing my train of thought thinking about. There's so many different things running through my mind, but like I think in our culture, brokenness isn't.
It's a bad thing.
It's a bad thing, but brokenness is like, and it's not, and especially in a celebrity culture, in a culture where we value influence. You know, one of the things that we've, you know, that influence versus, I think we talked about that a few times ago, like influences versus authority, or spiritual authority. I think in a culture that sees influence as authority, we're looking for heroes. Right. We're looking for heroes, and then so what happens is, like, when you need to be a hero, it's hard to be a hero with a broken wing. Right. You know what I mean? And so there really is no place to be broken in public, you know, when you have to be strong all the time. But man, that's heavy, bro.
It's not healthy.
It's not healthy, you know. There's I can't remember homegirl's name that wrote. I think he wrote a book talking about your body keeps a score. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Like, man, that stuff's gonna come out. Yeah. You know, like that stuff's gonna come out. Like that brokenness is gonna come out. And I think this is why we see, you know, affairs, and we see, you know, moral failures in the church. And I think what happens is, like, that stuff, like, people are so surprised by that stuff, and but people are unaware of how even the systems and the cultures that we've created have now really seeded the environment for that stuff to cultivate. Bro. And have not given people, like, where is a pastor gonna go and talk about his issues? You know, like, if you go, man, I remember going in like man, I remember one time, man, calling a pastor and being like just a pastoral peer, one of my homies, man, and being like, and bro, I was done, bro. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I don't know, you know, people might not know this, but pastoral ministry is hard, man. Like,
hard as hell.
You know, like, man, I remember burying somebody, like one of my homies getting a phone call at 4 a.m. that one of my homies died from his wife screaming, crying, bro. And then the same day, someone, like, wants to give their life to Jesus. I'm like, those emotions are the spectrum is. It's
like being in a car accident every single day.
Every single day. You know what I mean?
It's the trauma from a car accident.
It's trauma. It's heavy, man. And then you take that and then, like, you know, like, you want to do well. Like, you know, you want to do well. Like, you know, and so you're trying to grow a church, and, like, man, like, you know, people send you emails, and, like, man, like, pastors are sensitive too, man. Like, some people ain't got no feelings, you know. Psychopaths, you know what I mean? But psychopath, you know, but, like, man, I don't know, man. Like, no, it's true. I'm a little sensitive, you know what I mean? Like, I got, you know, I got feelings.
Because you know Jesus.
Exactly.
No, I'm serious. Because he wants you to feel.
I really care. I care, you know, and so you care for people, man, and, like, you watch, you know, you sit with people, you watch them throw away their lives, you know, man, like, you see people die, you see people come to life, you see people's life change, you see people that you pour your life into them, man, they leave.
Then they hurt you.
They write emails, blogs, you know, they take YouTube people with them, and you're like, oh, bro. And you're like, you know, I remember just sitting there one day, I was like, yo, like, man, the stuff people said, man, like, and I'm like, do you guys realize, like, I was shooting at people, like, 15 years ago? Like, I was, like, running around the streets with a gun. Like, I was, like what, like, I met Jesus in prison, man, and got out, and someone's like, will you serve? And I'm like, I'll serve. And then I end up planting a church, and I'm back in this, and I'm like, you're rough around the edges. Like,
what am I supposed to be?
You see the tattoos, bro. Like, you knew I was, like, what did you want from me?
Oh, my God.
You know, I'm trying. Yeah, sometimes I'm rough around the edges. Like, sometimes I don't know how to deal with stuff sometimes, you know? Like, yeah, it's like I'm wilding out. I had a stressful day. Like, 3 people died and 4 people left the church, and this fool's marriage is falling apart, and my wife is mad that, like, all my time is going to these people and not to my family, and we don't have money because I'm planting a church in the hood. And like, why we always gotta suffer, and then like it's, and I don't got medical insurance because the church can't afford it, and I'm trying to like, and I'm crapping blood, like real talk.
That's real stuff.
That's what it is, you know what I mean? And I'm like, and so when you come in here and you're like, I didn't like the worship, like, shut up, dog. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, all right, man, go next. What do you want me to do, bro? You know what I mean?
That's
like,
facts.
I guess, like, there's times, and there's times I've hurt people, man, and I don't know how to deal with this. And so I remember calling my homie one day, bro, and I was just like, I was in tears, bro. And I remember I literally was like, I'm falling apart. You know what I mean? I was falling apart, and there's this like, there's this fear that like by me falling apart, I'm not going to be able to do this anymore. There's this fear. Now my job's on the line, like now I'm broken. So I'm like, am I disqualified? Am I, you know what I mean? I'm like, man, is this happening? I'm like, what the heck? I'm rolling. And so I'm like, I just need, who do I talk? This is why pastors be committing suicide, bro. They got no one to freaking talk to, bro, And I remember calling the homie, bro, and being like, hey, man, like, I think I was at one of them points, dog. It was like it was tough, dog. I was at a real, like, I was self-destruct mode, like, and I just needed to talk to somebody. And I remember calling him, and I broke down, and I was in tears, bro. I was crying, and I just tried, and he freaking was like, man, that's tough, bro. Hey, I got a meeting, I gotta go.
Oh, I've been there.
And I'm like,
oh, I've been there.
And just hung up. And I remember sitting there being like,
I've been there.
Like,
yep.
Hell no. And so you're like, now I'm like, and then guess what happens? Ooh, like I've been in those pastoral circles, like, hey, Kris is having a hard time, man.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Is he healthy?
Yeah.
And it's like,
should he be preaching right now?
Should he be preaching right now? What should we do? It's like, what the? Like, so why? You don't want to say nothing, man. It's like, I ain't talking to none of you fools no more. You know what I mean? Then you start getting cynical, and then you start getting bitter. Then you start lashing out on people, dog. And it's like, and it's not.
Like, what happened to Kris? It's like, yo, I tried to tell you.
I tried to tell you. You know what I mean? And so it's like, and then what happened? And then what? And then you know what happens? It's like, then you end up out of ministry, or you end up in something. And then what happens? Nobody's your friend anymore. The phone stops ringing. They don't call. You don't get invited no more. Nobody call. And you're just like, were you guys my friend in the first place?
But bro, those accountability circles have always they've just been a joke to me. And they may be great for other people, but they were always a joke for me. And I've been in so many of them.
Yep.
And it was always like, we get together and we're brothers and we're here, and anything you need, just call me. And then
so you need something?
I get there and I need something. And it's like, oh, well, you know what? Yeah, man. I got you, or or the calls will go and then they won't get answered. The voicemail gets left. In December 2019, bro. Mm-hmm. December 2019, like 1-something in the morning. I'm sitting there on the edge of my bed. My wife is asleep on the other side. We had just had our third kid. My youngest son is in the bed in the middle. I'm sitting on the side of my bed, man, and I am crying. I feel like I have nowhere to go. Mm-hmm. Because even those accountability circles, you're afraid to talk to anybody in a circle, because just like what you said, now it's like how they're going to perceive you.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, you know what? I'm just here. And we had a gun right there next to my bed in the nightstand. I open it up, put my thumb on it, take it out, boom, putting my thumb, hit the safety, and I'm crying, man. I'm like, I just don't know what else to do. My daughter, her bedroom was right across the hallway from ours. And our doors were open, and all of a sudden I'm looking, and I see like this shadow, the silhouette, and I'm looking, and I'm like, Taylor? And she's walking, and she's rubbing her eyes like this, and she said, Daddy, Daddy. And I'm thinking to myself, like, this has to be fake. Like, this is not her. It's like 1 in the morning. She said, Daddy. She stood right in front of me. She said, Daddy, I love you. Oof. And I'm just like, oh, and she said, Daddy, can I lay with you? And I was like, yeah, baby, yeah. And I'm like crying. I'm like trying not to, yeah, baby, that's okay. It's okay. And I took the gun, I hit the safety and stuff, put it back in the thing, boom, and then laid with her. Woke up the next morning. My wife is like, why is Taylor in the bed? And I was like, oh, she woke up. But it took me months to even share that with my wife.
Yeah.
And then it was like, even in circles, so the pastoral circles that I got around, it's like I didn't even feel comfortable even sharing that piece because now, just like you said, well, now are you healthy enough to be doing this?
Yeah.
But it's like, but where do we go, bro? I know a pastor right now, bro.
Yeah.
This man has a huge following, many campuses.
Yeah.
And his conversation to me months ago, bro, was, I don't even know if I still believe in God.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all I've been doing now is just being a brother to him. And I asked him, I said, so what about your preaching? You gonna continue to preach? He looked at me, he said, bro, let's just be honest. He said, both of us know this is just a gig. He said, we both know this is a gig. He's like, yo, I'm coming here, I'm getting a paycheck. This is a gig. So it's like, even in that, I'm glad that he felt like he could share that with me. But now because now he sees me on the outside of the group.
Yeah, bro.
You know, he won't share it with his inner circle. And I think I want you to talk more about that. And we're going to jump into this right after this quick break. Yo, so what's the first thing you do when you wake up? You ain't checking your credit score. Don't even be sitting there lying to my check my credit score. Some of y'all probably do. You know, I don't know. But at Chime, that's exactly what they do. With their secured Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card, you can start to build credit with your own money, y'all. Chime reports your payments to credit bureaus to help you build credit over time. Their members typically see an increase of 30 points on average. So you're out there, you're trying to get that car, you're trying to build up enough to get that house, whatever it may be, and you're trying to build up that credit. Or maybe you just got a personal goal this year to build up your credit. Yo, Chime is where it's at. All of this with no annual fees, no large security deposits, or credit checks to apply. So you ain't got to worry about them asking for all this money or checking your credit and all that kind of stuff. You ain't got no annual fees. Why would you not do this? So start your credit journey with Chime. Sign up takes only 2 minutes and doesn't affect your credit score. Yo, 2 minutes out of your day. You got 24 hours in your day, 2 minutes. And it doesn't even affect your credit score. You get started at chime.com/LWTL. That's chime.com/LWTL. The Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card is issued by Stride Bank N.A. pursuant to a license from Visa USA Chime checking account and $200 qualifying direct deposit required to apply for the secured Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card. Regular on-time payment history can have a positive impact on your credit score. Impact to score may vary, and some users' scores may not improve. Out-of-network ATM withdrawal fees may apply except at MoneyPass ATMs in a 7-Eleven or any Allpoint or Visa Plus Alliance ATM. So, yeah, man. So now being kind of on the outside of that group, you pastored for 10 years, right?
Yeah.
So you pastored for 10 years. I pastored for 10 years, kind of being outside of that circle. What is your view now from the outside looking in?
Well, I mean, I think now I'm not really in vocational ministry, but I never really left. You know what I mean? And I think part of that has been, one of the things I've always tried to do is just be.
You can't leave.
Nah, bro. Because it's not just a gig.
Yeah, it's not a gig.
It's not just a gig, bro. And I think the problem is people get into it because it's a gig. And one of the benefits that I've had is I have a trade. You know what I mean? And so right now I started another company, you know, I've always been man, I'll do it. It's whatever, dog, you know? But I think because it's, for a lot of people, it is all they got. Mm-hmm. What else do they have? Yeah. Man, they have, you know, they have like
football players.
It's like football players. They got nowhere to go, bro. Yep. And they're like, what's after this? You know, I got nothing to do. I don't believe anymore. I'm not, you know, and it's not, there's no safe place. They end up, ending their life, or they end up. And so, I mean, I personally know multiple pastors who've ended their life personally, bro, that I know, you know what I mean? And it's really scary, you know what I mean? But I think there needs to be a reassessment and a reevaluation of what is health. Because is it unhealthy to be broken? I don't think so. Yeah. I don't think it's unhealthy to be broken. I don't think just because you're struggling or you have anxiety or you have all these, I think there needs to be, you know, some more awareness there needs to be more of an acceptance of our humanity.
I love that.
You know what I mean? We need to real, and I think real talk, man, let's just go back to the garden, right? Like God, I think God calls us out knowing that we're broken. He calls us into ministry knowing we got all these issues. But
we
then
try to cover it up.
And then we try to cover it up. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like we try to cover it up. Yep. But like he already knows. And I actually think that's the moment that the toxicity and the moment of the downfall happens is when God comes asking what's like where have you been?
Right.
And we put on fig leaves.
Yep.
But I think because then now you're in this state of hiding. Now you're in this state of protection. Now you're in this state of like vigilante, right? And like which for the record doesn't make you a villain either, right? Sometimes I think people get in vigilante mode and then they get villainized. And like I read this commentary, I think on Romans something for seminary, man, and it was
John MacArthur, John Piper, John.
No, this was in the seminary that I chose that was different than that. You know what I mean? But homegirl who wrote it. You know what I mean? Okay. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But she talked about the through line. I can't remember her name, but she talked about the through line, and it's basically saying that we like to create, these lines, and we put people on each side of the line. This is the good side, this is the bad side, right? And we always put ourselves on the good side, right?
Always.
But she was saying that line actually runs right through us.
Jesus.
And so there's parts of us that are off, and there's parts of us that are villains, and there's parts of us that are victors, you know what I mean? And we're on this journey, and God calls people who are full of all kinds of brokenness, man. Right. I mean, you read history, you've never seen a perfect leader, you know what I mean? And I think we need to embrace that.
Yeah.
And I think if we can embrace that and realize that Jesus is the only hero, you know what I mean? I think we can be okay with being broken.
Absolutely.
And I think that gives us the permission and the ability. And if people stop looking to us to be these heroes, and we point and help point to Jesus a lot more rather than putting ourselves in the place of Jesus, I think there becomes more of a space for us to be able to start processing and dealing with our brokenness in a way that's real and healthy. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that's hard, man.
I heard, man, I was just listening to a talk, but the guy, he's a Franciscan monk, and he said, one of the issues that we have with the present day church is we have too many men and women who have put themselves. We have too many in middle management. Because we put ourselves, and we feel like, a lot of times we feel like we need to be necessary. Yeah. We'll preach and we'll tell people, you need to pray to God. You need to pray. You can pray directly to Him, but don't forget, you need to come to me. I'm your pastor. Like you need to come to me with your gifts. Come to me and serve here. But God still wants your gifts, but you give them to God through me. Yeah. And so we have so much middle management that you can't break through that. And then also just that whole victimization, like how we put ourselves on the good side. You think about the way that we tell our biblical stories. When we talk about the Good Samaritan, bro, we're always the Good Samaritan. Yeah. We're always good. We're never the priest. Yeah. We're never the Levite. We're not even the robber. Yeah. We're always a good Samaritan. Even the way we tell our stories, we always try to paint ourselves as that good. And I love that you were talking about us being able to accept both our divinity and our humanity.
Well, I think some of the, even just to circle back to some of that proximity stuff, what's interesting is in the group of people that I've kind of come up in, we never tell ourselves as the Good Samaritan. We always
really,
100%. We always.
So who are you always in the story?
We're always like the villain. We're always the one passing by.
So you're either the priest or the Levite.
Yeah, we're always the one passing by, and so with that though, people never have we don't even I think learning from what I've learned from some different cultures, man, I was thinking about it, it was actually crazy. This morning I woke up and I was like thinking about this seminary degree that I got, you know what I mean? I don't know, because I'm building an office in my backyard, and I was thinking about this degree and I was like, am I gonna put it up on the wall? And I was like, nah, it's just a piece of paper. Who cares, you know?
Right.
And then I was like, you know what though? Man, I worked for that. Like I worked for that, man. That's what's up. Like it's okay to be proud of my hard work. Like it's okay, you know, like it's okay to say that I'm a good dad.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't have to always be a piece of crap. You know what I mean? And
right.
So it's like, it's interesting. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But I think part of it is, I don't know.
I'll say, but it's almost like, you know, when I go back and look at the story, now I consider myself, I'm all characters in the story.
Oof.
At different times. Like sometimes I'm the good Samaritan.
So good.
Sometimes I'm the priest. I'm the Levite.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm the robber. Sometimes I'm the innkeeper.
Yes, bro.
I'm the one who's taking them in.
That's,
you know.
Man, see, we need that's.
But it's even how we tell ourselves a story. But I think the stories didn't change for me until I experienced the brokenness.
Yeah.
And the brokenness is what's opened that up for me. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to take a quick break and we're going to jump right into that conversation. So y'all already know life insurance is so important. It was so important to me that 2 years ago I went and I became a life insurance agent. So let me just tell y'all something. We need it. And that's why we are so thankful for Fabric by Gerber Life. If you need your New Year's resolution idea, I already got it for you. Get you some life insurance. You need to do it. Looking to get your financial future organized? Start by getting you some life insurance. Most New Year's resolutions involve long-term habits, but they're quickly forgotten after a week or two. But with Fabric by Gerber Life, you can resolve to finally get life insurance. Here's the thing. Fabric was designed by parents for parents to help you get a high quality, surprisingly affordable term life insurance policy in less than 10 minutes. So if you're a parent out there, guess what? It was designed by parents for parents, and it's about doing this in less than 10 minutes, bro. You can't get past that. It takes less than 10 minutes to apply. You see your quote, and then you personalize your quote to fit your family's needs. You could be offered coverage instantly with no health exam required. With over 1,600 five-star reviews on Trustpilot.com, you can feel confident that you're getting a high-quality policy that is perfect for your family. And Fabric has a 30-day money-back guarantee, and you can cancel at any time. Protect your family today with Fabric by Gerber Life. Apply today in just 10 minutes at meetfabric.com/thisislife. That's meetfabric.com/thisislife. MEET fabric.com/thisislife. Meet MEET fabric.com/thisislife. Policies issued by Western Southern Life Assurance Company, not available in certain states, prices subject to underwriting and health questions. Yo, so we're back. So yes, this broken piece began, bro, Kris. And I was able to change the way I read and I told the stories.
Yeah.
Because I realized the brokenness had to start in me.
I think when you're, well, one of my convictions, and one of the things I think I'm really like the Spirit's kind of been leading me towards more is really rediscovering or really valuing more the laity, really valuing the people, really empowering people to really be who God's called them to be, and valuing this different the strength of the whole,
right,
rather than, I would say, placing such an emphasis on the role of the leader. You know what I mean, in that sense. And I think with that, what you see is the Christian leader needing to less be at the front.
I love that.
Right? To less be at the helm of the ship, right? It's really this, I'm with you, trying to walk this out with you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think the brokenness has come to that, right? Like I don't know what to tell you, man. Like my stuff stinks. Like I got issues.
I'm right here with you.
I'm right here. Like it is what it is, you know? And I think one of the humanity of Jesus, when we look at, like, if we get into really some deeper theological conversations, right? What you see is like Jesus was not just 100% God, he was also 100% man.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think he identified with us in our humanity. He left the throne of heaven not to come down here and be a deity, right? Like in that sense, not that he lacked that or gave that up, but he came and embodied
100%
as 100% a human.
Absolutely.
He struggled. He sweat, man. He was anxious. He had, and I think he did that in such a way that lets us know that we can sweat too.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's okay. It's okay to be broken. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay to be tempted. It's okay to be anxious. It's okay. Like the hope of Jesus is not that we have to like give up who we are. It's that God begins to redeem the brokenness even within us. And I think we can't even be redeemed if we don't come to the place that we need that redemption. And pastors and leaders aren't any different. Like I just, one of the things I love about someone who came from the tribe that I can, right? Matt Chandler, one of the things he said is always like, man, I'm just a beggar who found some bread. And like, I actually think that's a really dope saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm just a beggar who found some bread. I got bread. I got some for you. You want some bread too? Like I'm not the baker. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not the baker. I just found the bread too. I was hungry and I got some bread. So, and I'm going to share it with you. And I think if we can embody that and embrace that, like we can, sometimes I want more bread than you. Sometimes I'm going to be stingy. You know what I mean? Like it happens sometimes, and sometimes I'll be mad at you for pulling too much off. Why are you trying to take all the bread? Like it's just real.
Yeah, it is. It's extremely real. And I feel like a lot of people, ministry leaders, especially right now, are dealing with it.
Yeah. Oh, 100%, man.
And don't know. It's sad because they don't have the safe space to be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
They don't understand. Here's the other thing. Because safe spaces don't exist for ministry leaders, healing becomes almost difficult for them to attain. And the reason why I say that is because it I don't believe it's impossible, but it can be extremely difficult to heal in the same place where you were broken.
Yeah.
And because we become so important, we don't take breaks. Or we'll take, a month off and we'll go to Disney World.
Yeah.
Well, the whole time we're at Disney World, we're thinking about the church and we're thinking about, what it was going to be when I get back, and I need a sermon prep and I need to do all these things. And so you never really get that time that Jesus showed us in saying, I know the crowd is waiting for me, but I'm going to go up here to go pray alone.
Yeah.
I know the crowd is I know they're all gathered at the Sea of Galilee. I know they're all at Capernaum. I know they're all waiting for me, but I'm not going there just yet. Because I got a lesson I need to teach my disciple first. And we don't get that time away to get the healing that we need.
I think we need to, I think leaders need to stop overestimating their importance too. Like you're not like people, like some of these people ain't never had regular lives, bro. You know what I mean? Like one of the things I've been realizing, bro, like is like, man, my son plays travel basketball. You know what I mean? Man, there's so much drama in travel basketball. It's like, stop woofing on the church, man. The church is, anytime there's an organization, there's problems, bro. Like, it's just like you see the drama in travel basketball is insane, bro. It's crazy.
I'm learning about it right now with football.
I'm like, man, what the heck? These guys are weird, dude. You know what I mean? Parents are crazy, dog. Yeah. Everyone's kids going to the NBA. You're like, it's like, no, you're like, you know what I mean? Yep. It's nuts. You know what I mean? And so I think number one, like stop overestimating your importance. You know what I mean? Like your job is your job is not that crazy. And like I would say also, man, be courageous. Hey, if you gotta quit your job and go do it. Like, so what? Trust Jesus, man. Like Jesus may be inviting you into a new season to give you life and healing. And I'd rather have life than have a job. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like and God will provide, man. Like so some pastors like maybe if it's just a gig for you, it's time to quit.
It's time to quit.
Like, if it's just a gig for you, like, you need to quit now. Yeah. You know what I mean? If it's, like, and it's okay. Like, that doesn't...
It's completely fine.
It's completely fine. Hey, man, maybe you need a break, Maybe you need to go sell insurance for a season. I don't know. Like, do something different. Like, be different. Like, do something different. Like, it's okay. Like, that's not... that's not the end of the world. And I think that's, I think, one of the things I learned from one of my mentors, Chuck DeGroat, he does a lot of stuff on like spiritual care and soul care, and like in the church, especially within the church, within pastors, is, we need courageous spaces, where spaces where we can have the courage to say how we're really feeling. And I think in some sense, like, I think pastors need to be courageous, and it's okay. And part of being courageous is not just, I'm not saying like charge the way, what I'm saying is like, hey, I'm struggling believing this right now.
Right.
Or, hey, or really like my marriage is in shambles. I need help, you know? Like, it's not worth it. Like, at the end of the day, like, God can build this church. He don't need you.
I've found some courageous spaces. I think I told you about some retreats that I host. I definitely want to get you out.
That'd be dope, yeah.
So I go out to Wyoming and Montana. I used to go with a group of guys, and so now I've started hosting my own. I'm doing one in North Carolina that is focused on healing, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's focused on healing. It's focused on going back to some of that childhood trauma.
And get some therapy, man.
And
like,
getting the therapy.
Hey, people need
needed.
therapy. Hey, you know what, man? Man, I had to get on meds for a season, man. I was like, man, and that was like one thing I was like, I can't, I'm scared, like this is crazy. But I started reading like, you start reading the effects of anxiety on your body, man.
Right.
The way that I was like, man, I never worked through some of this trauma, man. Like I got shot, I got molested, bro. I got childhood wounds. I never dealt with this stuff. I just went from prison to leadership to this, to that, you know what I mean? It just kept rolling. And I was like, and I started seeing anxiety come up and panic attacks and all these different things. And I was like, man, I need to, the effects that the medicine are going to, like the side effects of the medicine can't be worse than the side effects of anxiety.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I was like, you know what? I don't care what nobody thinks, man. Like, I want to be around for my kids.
Right.
And anxiety is going to like higher my blood pressure. It's going to do all, like, you know what I mean? It's like, you don't think about these things. It's like, you know what? I don't really care. I want healing. I want whatever it takes, man. Like, I want healing. And Jesus calls us to that, man.
Right.
He gives us the freedom to heal. Like, imagine that. Like it's okay if you can't heal. Like, I don't know what you like.
And that was the main reason why I stopped pastoring. I turned my church over because I'm just like, at this point I'm hurt.
Yeah.
And at this point I'm broken.
Me too,
and at
bro.
this point I need healing.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't get that and still try to pretend for you every Sunday. I can't do that.
No.
So I have to do this. And people were upset. They were like, well, you just shouldn't, you shouldn't have done this. And I'm like, no, I got to do this for me.
Yeah,
I got to do this for my kids, for my wife, for my family. And so you got to get the help you need. Kris, I appreciate you being here with me, man.
100%.
It's been, man, these have been some great episodes we've had. Leave the people one last bit of wisdom. We're going to close it out, bro.
Yeah, man, just get educated. You
want to send them an invitation to your tribe?
Get educated, you know what I mean?
This is great.
Be wary of people who hand out titles too quick.
Oh, my God. Oh, gosh. You have just been anointed apostle, Kris. So I want to let you know that he is now to be referred to as apostle.
See, that's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, man. Let me go change my Instagram.
Oh, my God. Hey, that's the way they're doing it right now, bro.
There it is.
I've seen the most apostles and bishops I have in the last 2 years, man. I'm like, I think y'all just got saved yesterday.
Well, if you read your Bibles,
Sorry, I'm dead. Man, get a people my last bit of wisdom, Kris. What you got?
Man, you know what? I don't got nothing.
You ain't got nothing.
I ain't got nothing.
Well, y'all, he ain't got nothing. That's a surprise, man. But nevertheless, Kris, I appreciate you being with us. Yo, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for kicking with us. Always make sure you subscribe, check in, all that kind of great stuff. And we're going to be back with y'all next Friday. God bless y'all. Intro deuces. We out.